Management consultants work 12 to 14 hours every day. Have you ever questioned what does the day of a management consultant at BCG Mckinsey Bain look like? And what kind of chill and happening parties or culture do we have when we have worked for 12-14 hours every day? Hi, if you're new to my channel, on my channel I share about all things consulting, MBA, personal finance, at times about my lifestyle as well here in US. So feel free to hit on the subscribe and the notification button so that you get notified every time I'm talking about my experiences or bringing out interesting, insightful information to all of you. So it's a very interesting video in the terms of what does the day in the life of a management consultant looks like, and rightfully so, because I'm sure a lot of you want to work in management consulting, but you would always wonder what would my day really look like, right? So in this video, I'm going to be picking one engagement and a case that I did for a leading IT giant, and that will also help you understand what does an entire project really look like and how would the life of a management consultant really look like, and this will help you get some perspective into the entire job as well. So first and foremost, when you are a new management consultant, either in BCG, Mckinsey and Bain, there is something called staffing. Staffing is that which project will you work for, right? And initially you are very excited because everyone has certain affinity towards certain sectors. For example, I had a very strong affinity towards public sector and social impact. In fact, towards the last leg, which is my second year at BCG, I pure play just did public sector and social impact projects. So comment on this video to let me know what kind of sectors do you have an affinity towards. It could be IT, it could be emerging technology. In fact, BCG has its green shoot arms whereby we actually advise leading unicorns and startups in this country as well. So I really look forward to reviewing them and get your perspective. Coming back, this was my second project, which was in IT industry. So my first project was actually in FMCG. For your first staffing, typically the new consultant does not have a lot of say. Even though, especially in BCG, the culture of getting staffed is just so transparent, really better than a lot of other organizations. You set in your high priority projects, medium priority projects and low priority projects. You are never ever typically staffed on a low priority project, and you are typically staffed either on a high priority project or a medium priority project. And from that side, after you have submitted your high priority projects and medium priority projects, the partner picks you based on for the first project, your resume will be opened because they have no data point to check what was your performance in the past projects. So after my first project in Kolkata in FMCG sector, I was really looking forward to for a break. In fact, in December is typically a very relaxed period of time for management consultants because they've worked their asses off throughout the year. After working on a very strenuous project, I was really looking forward to a relaxed December, and here is what happened. Now, I actually got a staffing request on an IT case. And I reached out to the staffing team and the other team that, hey, I would want an off. And they said, hey, we don't see in the system that you have requested for an off. So I was this rookie consultant and I realized that in the system, I should have put a request for an off almost 2 weeks in advance, 2 to 3 weeks. And hence I didn't get. In my defense, I was not expecting a sudden staffing because I was expecting I will have at least 1 week to relax on that FMCG Kolkata case. But there was this really burning project coming up in an IT sector and they wanted a new consultant, and hence I had to move on. But it was my favorite project during my career at BCG. I loved the project manager. I loved my team. I had a very good time. This client was actually nearby my home as well. That means I was not taking Monday morning flights and Thursday flights. This was just a 30-minute drive from my home. And of course, I think I made a video on the glamorous lifestyle of a BCG consultant. There is no glamour to getting a cab, but you get BCG cabs. That mean a cab, not Ola, Uber, would come at your home, pick you up and drop you up at night. I had a very good time working on that case, which brings me towards the next topic. What do you really do, Shatakshi, in 12-14 hours as a BCG management consultant or a McKinsey Bain? So what really happened, this was a classic cost case. We had to reduce the cost of a leading IT giant in this country. Initial 1 week is just spent on work allocation. So imagine, I think we were three consultants on that case. I was the only woman. There were two male consultants, and there was a project manager, and then there were two partners on this case. So first and foremost, there is a work allocation. What do I mean by work allocation? That you open the accounting statement, you look at the ledgers, and you figure out the top three big categories where the client is incurring cost, and you divide it equitably or equally within the three consultants. So for example, I was looking at the logistic costs incurred by the client. My team member was looking at software costs. My another team member was looking at another cost, so on and so forth. The second week largely is just spent building hypotheses. In fact, I would say the second and the third week on a consulting client case is the most sharp problem solving and the big picture problem solving you would do. That means that, for example, if I were to give an example, we realized that a lot of real estate cost was being incurred by the IT client, and we had to figure out, for example, we came up with a KPI called rent per square kilometer, and then we realized multiple other hypotheses. We thought of benchmarking. So basically, you kind of draw a big whiteboard and you say that for me to solve this problem, or for me to actually reduce the client's cost in certain lever, I am going to be dividing this cost bucket into 10 parts. Each 10 part will have certain hypotheses, and that is how I will attack the problem. You do a lot of thinking, right? So basically week 2 and week 3 are just about thinking. I would say just week 2, and by week 3 you start to collect data. And then you align with the partner on the case. You run the partner through your thinking that this is how I have thought about the problem. And then of course from week 3 you start collecting data. You start collecting benchmarking information, you start getting on expert calls. So now that if I were to get into the day of a life of a BCG consultant, on this case, because I was not flying, but on other cases I was flying to either Kolkata or to Mumbai. This was near my home, so if we had to reach at the client side by 8:40 or 8:45, I would sleep somewhere around 1:30. This is December cold, and I would just wake up at 7:45, quickly take a shower, and then just rush. So no yoga for me on that project because I was just really enjoying some extra sleep. But coming back, you would align with your project manager on a daily basis that within my cost lever that I was allocated, I have 10 sub buckets. Today I'm just going to look at one sub bucket. I have 10 hypotheses, and to prove or disapprove that hypothesis, I'm going to be talking at 10 people. Now the culture in management consulting is not really of reporting. You are not talking to your project manager to help them understand that this is the work I'm going to do. You talk to your project manager to align in the thinking that does he or she align? Are you thinking about the problems right, or do they have something additional to point out, right? Which makes sense because they would have already worked in BCG for 5 to 6 years. They would know if you're wasting your time on something that you shouldn't be wasting, right? And like I said, I had a very good time working with this project manager. He's one of my favorite people at BCG till date. But coming back, after that, you collect a lot of data. You organize interviews within the client organization, you talk to CXO level people, get data, try to understand their entire context. Data is just not numbers, data is many times just context building also, because all organizations' context is different. And then of course the lunch time hits. Many a time you may have lunch alone, most of the time you have it with your case team, most of the time. And because we are consultants on the client side, on most of my client side, I've had lunches within the client office. That means in their cafeteria, and many times we would order food as well. Most of the times we would also order coffee or chai from other places if the client organization canteen was not so great. They're just us consultants cribbing and wanting some Starbucks coffee. And with that, I'm not a coffee lover, I'm a chai lover. Which brings me towards, of course, the fact that you kind of start coming closer to the answers. You keep on updating that, hey, if we had to save, let's say 1 crore for the client, on my lever, I can anticipate that 25 lakhs or 26 lakhs of saving can take place. And that 25-26 lakhs of saving can take place because of these 10 levers. And within each lever, you could do that a lever can actually save me 10 lakhs of saving, and that 10 lakhs of saving will come from implementing these 3 things. Why are we talking about this implementation? Because of benchmarking, etc. Right? So that is the kind of day that you go through. And there is one very interesting thing that many people don't talk about. As a BCG consultant, I'm a huge fan of BCG, and I will always bleed green. Why? Because twice during my journey within 2 years at BCG, I took sabbaticals. And BCG was always very flexible in terms of giving health-based sabbaticals. Once I was re-diagnosed with migraine. My migraine started resurfacing. And this is after the pandemic, not on this case. This case was fairly fine. And second was almost towards the end of the journey. I was just not doing well health-wise, and I realized that now that this case is coming to an end, I want to take a break for 2 to 3 weeks. Sabbaticals is unpaid vacation. Even though you may think that, hey Shatakshi, it is easy to give, it is not. On a short-term basis, I was given easy sabbaticals, right? And which brings me towards the last section of this entire video. What kind of chill sessions did we have? So on this case, we actually ended up working on 25th of December, which is Christmas. Consultants don't work in December. We were working on Christmas, and this was a brainstorming session organized by a partner. I think overall, even though we had to work in December, we got a really good working ecosystem. The partners understood, appreciated, and well respected the fact that it is not the time of the year that we should be working. And that meant that we had a very good Christmas evening dinner at a really great hotel. This was a 5-star hotel, I think in Noida or Delhi. I'm not able to recall, but if I find picture, I will definitely put it out for all of you. So that's my time with all of you. I hope this helps to synthesize. Consultant's day goes in collecting a lot of information, building a lot of hypotheses, creating answers, and creating a lot of decks in PPT. PPT making is a very integral component of a consultant life. And last but not the least, interacting with the CEOs, stakeholders, and also presenting your findings in steer committee meetings. That's my time with all of you. Like I always say, if you need more help to become a management consultant, we run an alternative to an international MBA program through my education venture. So feel free to check out globalgovernanceinitiative.org. And like always, feel free to hit on the like button and the share button so that your friends get to know about all the cool things that we're talking about here regarding consulting, MBA, and lifestyle. With that, I take your leave. Stay happy, stay healthy, and be kind to each other. See you soon. Bye-bye.